This meeting is being recorded.
Welcome, and thank you for joining today's Sunshine Week event at the National Archives and Records Administration. Please note that this program is being recorded. With that, I will turn the program over to Alina Simo, Director of the Office of Government Information Services.
Thanks, Tegan. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Alina Simo, the Director of the Office of the Director of the Office of Government Information Services, also known by our acronym as OGIS. OGIS is the Federal Freedom of Information Act Ombuds, and we are housed here at the National Archives and Records Administration. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you to NARA's 14th Annual Sunshine Week program, whether you are joining us virtually on the National Archives YouTube channel or in person in the William G. McGowan Theater, where we are simultaneously broadcasting today's event. Today's program will offer a glimpse into the substantive, fascinating work that NARA engages in to maximize transparency and provide access to records. Each day, our colleagues work to improve the online experience for researchers, leverage artificial intelligence, and digitize records. There are more than 375 million pages already digitized in the National Archives catalog. We are grateful that Jay Traynor, NARA's Chief Operating Officer, has been able to pre-record welcoming remarks today, which we will now go ahead and share.
Hello, and welcome to Sunshine Week at the National Archives. I am Jay Traynor, Chief Operating Officer at the National Archives and Records Administration, NARA. Whether you are watching this on your computer or on the big screen in the William G. McGowan Theater at NARA's flagship building in Washington, D.C., we are glad you are joining us. Sunshine Week is an annual, nonpartisan collaboration among groups in the civic, journalism, education, government, and private sectors that shines a light on the importance of public records and open government. The annual collaboration coincides with the March 16th birthday of the 4th President of the United States, James Madison. President Madison played a central role in writing the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Every day at the National Archives, NARA staff work diligently to make our archival holdings accessible to the American citizenry. Gone is the era when the only way to view our nation's historical public records was to visit one of our research rooms or presidential libraries across our great country. Today we will hear from 3 of our NARA colleagues who will discuss the exciting work that is happening to enhance digital transparency and access to our nation's records. We are particularly delighted to share what we are doing in response to Executive Order 14176 that President Trump signed on January 23, 2025, calling for the declassification of records held here at the National Archives concerning the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Martin Luther King, Jr. As the custodian of the records related to these events, the National Archives fulfills an essential role in making these records available to the American people. As the President noted in the executive order, records pertaining to each of these assassinations is in the national interest. It is important to understand that NARA does not have authority to declassify records. However, we are excited to work with partner agencies across the executive branch to implement the President's determinations for release. I invite you to partner with us on the JFK Assassination Records collection. Many of these records are ready for transcription by citizen archivists, individuals who volunteer to transcribe either handwritten or typewritten records in the National Archives holdings. Volunteering for this important work helps make the records more searchable and discoverable by all. More information is available on our website, archives.gov. Thank you, citizen archivists, for your work. We very much appreciate you. And now, on to today's event, where we will hear about other projects here at NARA, including our work to help celebrate and commemorate the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, marking America's semi-quincentennial. I hope you enjoy our Transparency and Access to NARA Records program.
Again, we thank Jay Trainer for recording that great welcome message. And we're back. But before I introduce our panel and moderator today, a little background about Sunshine Week. The annual nonpartisan cross-discipline collaboration occurs each year around March 16th, the birthday of our nation's fourth president, James Madison, who is widely known as the father of the Constitution. He earned this title because of his pivotal role in drafting the US Constitution, advocating for a strong but balanced federal government. He also played a crucial role in drafting the Bill of Rights, ensuring protections for individual liberties. While the Constitution was a collaborative effort, his vision and leadership made him its most influential architect. That said, Madison himself was modest about the title, recognizing that the Constitution was the result of many minds working together. Sunshine Week is premised on an idea about government transparency that Louis Brandeis wrote about 3 years before his appointment to the US Supreme Court. Sunlight, Justice Brandeis wrote in Harper's Weekly in 1913, is said to be the best of disinfectants. At NARA, we are all about shining a light on our nation's historical documents. Here to help guide today's spotlight is Jill Reilly, NARA's Acting Chief Innovation Officer. Throughout her 20-year federal career, Jill has focused on digital engagement, access, and discovery. In addition to her 10 years at the National Archives, Jill has served at the National Agricultural Library with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the Law Library of Congress, and the U.S. Department of Education. Jill earned her master's in library science with a concentration in archival administration and Master of Arts in U.S. History from the University of Maryland in College Park, my alma mater. Jill, over to you.
Thank you, Alina. I'm happy to be here today moderating the Sunshine Week panel at the National Archives, highlighting the work that National Archives and Records Administration is doing to increase transparency and access to government records. I'll be introducing our 3 speakers today. Next slide, please, Tegan. Thanks. First, we'll hear from Denise Henderson. Denise is the Director for Digitization and Research Services here at NARA, and she coordinates digitization efforts to align with NARA's strategic goals and initiatives. These efforts include centralized mass digitization projects involving the systematic digitization of holdings, including textual, special media, and microfilm materials. From 2011 to 2018, Henderson worked in NARA's Office of Innovation in various roles, including Chief of the Digital Public Access Branch. From 2007 to 2011, Henderson was a processing archivist in the Textual Services Division, where she successfully completed the Archivist Development Program. She holds a master's in library science from the University of Maryland. Next, we'll hear from Michael Knight, who serves as the Web Division Director in the Office of Innovation. He has led a wide range of website development projects that support NARA's efforts to provide online access to records and additional customer-focused resources. He's also a subject matter expert on agile development methodology and is a certified Scrum Master, Scrum Professional, and a project management professional. He is a graduate of Delaware State University. And then we will hear from Carol Lagundo, who's the Director of Digital Partnerships and Outreach. She joined NARA in 1993 and currently serves in this role. She has spent most of her career at NARA managing IT software development projects. And in her current role, she coordinates digital and metadata enhancement partnerships and also the History Hub, online chat, Ask the Archives, and Citizen Archivist programs. She holds a FAC, a PPM Level 3 certification in project management. Next, I will now hand it over to Denise for her presentation on Microfilm Reading Room of Tomorrow Today.
Great. Thanks, Jill. Hello, everyone. I am Denise Henderson, the Director of Digitization for Research Services at NARA. I'm excited to talk to you today about NARA's efforts to digitize our microfilm holdings. This initiative is a critical part of NARA's strategic goal to make our holdings digitally available to anyone, anywhere, anytime. Before I talk about the current and future state of microfilm digitization, I really have to go back in time and talk about the history and development of NARA's in-house microfilm program and how the work of generations of NARA staff continue to drive our efforts today. Next slide. NARA was a pioneer in the field of microfilm, with the agency starting to reformat textual records into microfilm shortly after we were founded in the mid-1930s. This 1937 photo from Record Group 64, the records of the National Archives and Records Administration, features a dedicated National Archives employee microfilming a volume from our holdings. By the 1940s, the microfilm program became what it would be for the next almost 70 years. NARA created microfilm products, which we now refer to as microfilm publications, to preserve heavily used records, as well as valuable, fragile materials that could not be served in our research room. In those early days, the availability of microfilm publications allowed NARA to connect our records with people who could not make it to the National Archives building in Washington, D.C. by making the film available for purchase. Like most everything, output started at a slow, steady pace. Gradually, by the end of 1943, 400,000 pages of records were microfilmed. Next slide. The microfilming had stands in high places, as we see here in a letter from President Franklin Roosevelt to the first archivist of the United States, R.D.W. Connor, in 1942. President Roosevelt not only understood the importance of the modern process of microfilming, he also recognized the vast amount of work involved in this endeavor. Anyone involved in microfilming projects of the past and now digitizing records can certainly agree with those sentiments. Next slide. So what became known as the Microfilm Preservation Program at NARA continued to grow over the decades. The program created thousands of microfilm publications that became part of our microfilm library, which now contains over 4,000 individual titles. While NARA was busy creating its own microfilm products, we were also accessioning microfilm from federal agencies. The Microfilm Preservation Program often created duplicates of this film to ensure continued preservation. The program continued until the early 2010s before we stopped creating microfilm products and shifted our focus towards expanding our digitization capabilities. Next slide. This end slide looks slightly ominous, but it's a familiar sight for researchers who use NARA's microfilm as it was used to mark the end of a reel. So while the microfilm program, the program to create microfilm ceased operation, NARA still has a lot of it. We have 268,000 rolls of microfilm in our library. This is in addition to the hundreds of thousands of rolls of microfilm accession from federal agencies who also reformatted records throughout their histories. Next slide. So how did our researchers access this microfilm? For a long time, it was only accessible to researchers who visited NARA facilities or paid for copies of rolls to be made. So here are a few photos from our holdings of researchers at microfilm readers, which are probably familiar to you. The first picture was taken, or the picture on the left was taken in 1964, the year my mom graduated from high school. The second picture was taken almost 40 years later in 2002, the year after I graduated college. Next slide. Here are some more recent pictures taken a couple of years ago of the microfilm reading room at NARA's Archives 2 in College Park. All of the cabinets along the perimeter of the wall contain rolls and rolls of microfilm that researchers had to view using on-site readers, much like I did in college. When we shifted our approach to focus on digitization, we could free the microfilm for the cabinets and the microfilm readers and put the content online in digital form. Next slide. NARA's initial efforts around digitization actually involved external parties who either paid for copies that they later digitized or who partnered with NARA in order to digitize popular microfilm publications. In most cases, these projects focused on publications that were of interest to the genealogy community. But the vast majority of the publications in the microfilm library were still only available on film, and they covered a broad range of subjects, including diplomacy and foreign relations, justice and law enforcement, land issues, military and intelligence matters, communications, immigration, and on and on. Topics that were of interest to researchers and scholars around the world. So several years ago, NARA began an initiative to focus scanning efforts on those microfilm publications. We started a systematic digitization project to expand access to these holdings and support overall reference activities. We are accomplishing the digitization by using a combination of internal lab capabilities at Archives 2 and contracted scanning vendors. These efforts, along with the earlier partnership digitization projects, have put us on pace to fully digitize the microfilm library and have its content digitally available within the next few years. Next slide. So I'd like to use the next few images to tell the story of the evolution of microfilm access over the course of NARA's history. So this is a picture from the National Archives catalog featuring State Department records in bound volumes. We have thousands of these volumes that are holding. And for those of you who may not be aware, State Department records are really some of NARA's most heavily used records. Next slide. So obviously, they were microfilmed, and as we can see this from this photo in 1955, our State Department microfilm publications make up about 8% of our microfilm library and are among the most heavily used requested publications, along with those from our captured German records collection. The two rolls in the photo on the right are from State Department dispatches, and including roll 4 from M70, Microfilm Publication 70. Until a few years ago, researchers would have had to access the film much as they had in past decades. Again, either by purchasing it or using an on-site reader. Next slide. So this is a screenshot of the first frame of roll 4 from M70 that is fully online and accessible in the National Archives catalog. We actually digitized this and put this online a couple years ago. So any user can access this digitized microfilm anytime they wish from wherever they are. And one day this will be true for all of our microfilm publications in NARA's microfilm library. Next slide. So we are also focused on digitizing microfilm holdings that NARA accessioned from federal agencies. While the Census Bureau is tasked with taking the census, NARA is responsible for releasing it 72 years after the information was collected by census enumerators. As the population schedules are on microfilm, we have to scan it before it can be released. The most recent census release was in April of 2022. That was the 1950 census, and I want to give a public kudos to my co-panelists today, since we all have fond memories of working on that project together. The 1960 census will be released in April of 2032, and we've already started to scan that microfilm. We're also working on digitizing several large microfilm collections at the National Archives at St. Louis. World War I and World War II era Army morning reports and World War II era officer rosters. These supplement records that were damaged or destroyed by the 1973 fire at the St. Louis facility, and are often, these records are often the only record of service in the Army or Air Force. So these are very important records for our veteran community. Another exciting project that's currently underway is the digitalization of Civilian Conservation Corps enrollee files, which are, again, another heavily used group of records. Since the beginning of February, we have added almost 5 million digitized pages to the National Archives catalog, and we expect to have all of the enrollee files, which is a little over 13,000 rolls, available online by the end of 2025. Next slide. So why is this work so beneficial? We are making millions of pages of archival records available online, connecting people with National Archives holdings and impacting many areas of research and scholarship. We are leveraging a legacy of work already done by NARA employees, I started my presentation by referencing a photo of a NARA employee microfilming records in 1937. Decades of dedicated work went into preparing and filming records to expand access. And now we can build off of that work for the next generation to use and learn from. Increased areas of efficiency. NARA has 13.5 billion records. Digitizing even a small fraction of that is a major task. The digitization process takes time. Digitizing our microfilm holdings is by far the most efficient way to make as many records as possible digitally available. Once digitized, it actually helps to make our reference operations more efficient. What used to take an hour or more to find a record on a reel of microfilm can be done much faster, which allows our reference archivists to be much more effective in their jobs. And as I said previously, because it's basically a personal mantra, anyone can access this digital content anywhere, anytime. Thousands of researchers visit our research rooms across the country, but we recognize that many face challenges visiting our facilities, whether it's because of cost, distance, or time. So if making our microfilm digitally available saves someone from having to fly here to do their research, or enables them to maximize their time while they're on site with us, we really consider that a win. Truly, providing free, convenient, open access to government records is really one of the driving forces behind our digitization projects. Next slide. The researcher community seems to appreciate our efforts. These are just two comments we have received over the last few years from researchers based in California and Australia. So notes like this really keep us going. We're always excited when we hear from the public about our efforts. Next slide. If you're interested in seeing what microfilm has been digitized and put online, we have some resources, including this list available on our Information for Researchers webpage. It's updated quarterly. We also have a monthly What's New in the National Archives catalog webpage. And we update our NARA's microfilm catalog to link to newly digitized content that is available in our main National Archives catalog. Next slide. So I subscribe to the saying, eat an elephant one bite at a time. I learned that's a management concept that's actually called complexity partitioning, taking a really overwhelming, complicated task and breaking it down to smaller chunks. So here are some of our upcoming microfilm milestones of what is and will be digitally available over the next few years. On that last bullet, I will say today actually marks 2,570 days until the release of the 1960 census. It will be here before we know it. So Mike and Carol, let's get back to work here working on the census. We also have lots of smaller milestones, so stay tuned because we are regularly adding new content to the National Archives catalog. We are looking forward to continuing our work and making federal records accessible to everyone. So thank you so much for your time today. Next slide. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And now I'll throw it back to Jill.
Thanks, Denise. Next up, we have Michael Knight. And so next slide, and we'll hand it off to Mike now. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Jill, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michael Knight. I'm the Web Division Director in the Office of Innovation here at the National Archives. In today's presentation, I'm going to provide you with a briefing on archives.gov and an exciting project that we've initiated to redesign the archives.gov website. In addition to that, I'm going to provide you with an overview of a few other exciting projects that are underway to provide access to records from the President John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Collection, as well as records related to unidentified anomalous phenomena through the archives.gov website. Next slide. All right, and just a couple points here about what I'll go through, and again, just starting out with an update on archives.gov, and then wrapping up with some updates on the records release projects that we have going on. Next slide. All right, archives.gov redesign. And next slide once more, please. All right, there we go. So archives.gov is it's the National Archives flagship website. It's the first interaction that many people have with our agency online. However, it's been quite a while since the site has been redesigned. In fact, not since 2010. So this project that we're undertaking to redesign the site provides an opportunity to really transform and enhance the website. And so the vision for the new archives.gov, it breaks down into three key areas. First is updating the look and feel of the site. The new archives.gov will include a modern and vibrant visual design, which will incorporate elegant colors, type, and imagery. Next, the new archives.gov will be designed to be intuitive and user centric. And that includes having a very user friendly navigation, clear and prominent calls to action, and various links that really make it intuitive. We want to make sure that regardless if someone is an archivist or researcher or someone who may be visiting our website for the very first time, we want to make sure that it's easy for them to navigate and to get access to the things that they need. And lastly, the vision for the new archives.gov, it includes um, providing visitors with improved ways to discover the content that they need. And that includes introducing enhanced search capabilities, including the ability to surface relevant search results based on keywords and phrases from within the site and also other NARA websites, including the National Archives catalog. Next slide. So just some of the benefits here. So redesigning archives.gov will benefit NARA and of course our external audiences in a number of different ways. And first off, the redesign will stand as a digital transformation of sorts. So it's an opportunity to really reinvigorate NARA's visual branding and to transform the site, which stands as a digital front door for many of our online customers. Also, as a part of the redesign, we'll be modernizing the underlying site infrastructure, which includes a content management system and other technical features within the site. And this sets us up to build on a foundation or to build a foundation on which new and enhanced digital experiences can be built to help us meet the needs of our customers and to continue to provide access to records and other vital sources of information in new and exciting ways. Next up is an improved user experience. So through the redesign, the website it's going to gain a modern look and feel. And then, like I mentioned previously, that includes improving the site navigation and organization. And also, the new site will be designed to be more responsive, meaning its ability to adapt and to be viewable across multiple devices. And in addition to that, we're going to do to ensure that it's more accessible, so that the website is Section 501 compliant, and that members of our external audiences and all users of the website, those who may have sensory or cognitive impairments, can have an equal experience when browsing the site. And next, another benefit is that we're going to be updating the content management system. So the content management system, which is what is used to publish all content to the site, will be receiving an upgrade to the latest version, and we're using a content management system called Drupal. On archives.gov. It's an open source platform that's designed for publishing web content. It's widely used within the government community and beyond. And it includes modular components that are adaptable across NARA websites. So we've been able over these past several years to in the course of redesigning and designing additional NARA websites to be able to develop other components that we will also be adapting into the new archives.gov site. And next is enhanced search features. So the new archives.gov site will be redesigned in a way to provide an opportunity again for enhanced search capabilities. And again, this includes upgrading the site search engine to one that provides faster performance, deeper site indexing, and advanced sorting and filtering capabilities to enable site visitors to discover the information that they need. Um, and to maximize the level of access that we have to information that's available through search on the website. Next slide. All right, I just have a few key facts about archives.gov as it currently stands. The site has approximately 20,000 web pages. Right now, we have approximately 300 staff, a wide network of staff that provide support for the website, whether that's directly involved with the administration of the site, as well as staff just throughout the agency that serve as content editors or publishers on the site as well. In addition, we are using the Drupal content management system. That's what this site is operating on. And the website is hosted on the Amazon Web Services cloud as well. Next slide. All right. So this chart provides the total number of site visits, meaning the total number of times that people have visited the archives.gov website between calendar years 2018 through March of this year, 2025. And here we can see that archives.gov has been on an upward climb in terms of visits since 2020, when it received right around 41.8 million site visits. And as I've also noted here, so far this year, the site has received a little over 14 million visits. Next slide. All right. So we have a few snapshots here of the archives.gov site over the years, just showing how the site has evolved from being a small HTML based website to where we are now, a really large site with a lot of dynamic features. Next slide. Right. And I just want to provide just a high level project timeline of some events that have already occurred and that will occur going forward during the archives.gov website redesign project. So, following a request for proposals and evaluation of project proposals that we received in February of this year, February 2025, the contract was successfully awarded for this project. And just at the start of this month, in March of 2025, the project officially kicked off. And so right now we're anticipating that the period of performance for this project will extend through May of 2026. And the launch of the new website is expected to occur in June of 2026. Next slide. And I'll just talk a little bit about the project approach briefly. So feedback from our users and our audiences it'll play a very central role in this project. And to that end, we are planning to conduct a range of user research activities in the upcoming weeks in order to gain insights from agency staff as well as members of NARA's external audiences to learn about their experiences with the current version of archives.gov, as well as their expectations for the new website. And that feedback will be used to inform the design direction of the new website, including its look and feel, as well as the development of new website features. In addition to that, agile and user centered development methodologies will be used throughout the project. And so, in addition to user research, there will be many elements of transparency throughout the project, including frequent demos and additional opportunities for staff and members of NARA's external audiences to provide feedback on the design direction of the new site as the project is in progress. And lastly, here, we're ensuring that the website will be developed in accordance with federal website policies and best practices and NARA web policy as well, including Section 508 and web content accessibility guidelines. Next slide. This is just an overview here or a collection here of various websites that were developed using the US web design system. That's also a framework that we are going to be designing or using in the development of the the archives.gov website during the redesign. And the US WDS, as it's known, it's a development framework, or essentially a code library that's used to build accessible government websites. And it includes a grid system for configuring web pages, to selecting various color palettes and user interface components and other utilities that can be used in the course of developing a website. And here is just, again, just a selection of various websites that have been developed using the US web design system. We have a few NARA websites here that we've previously developed or redesigned, that use the USWDS. And you see on that on the lower row there, the Civics for All of Us website, the 1950 Census website, and the George W. Bush Presidential Library website. Next slide. Right. So shifting gears a bit here to archives.gov records release projects. So recently, our team within the Office of Innovation and the Web Division has been collaborating with our colleagues within the Office of Research Services to provide access to records from a few collections of high interest through the archives.gov website. Next slide. So first, the President John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Collection. We recently took steps to enhance the design and organization of content within the President John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Collection web pages. This was also done in response to Executive Order 14176, titled "Declassification of Records Concerning the Assassination of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr." The JFK assassination record pages are available via the web address listed here, archives.gov /JFK. The JFK Assassination Records Collection was established by the National Archives in November of 1992, and the first online release of records via the archives.gov website occurred in July of 2017. And as of today, there are now 5 data sets of records that are now available on archives.gov. Five data sets of release records from the JFK Assassination Records Collection. There was a new March 2025 data set of release records that was just published yesterday. And so now that data set, in addition to previous released records data sets from 2023, 2022, 2021, and 27 through 2018, are now available on archives.gov. And site visitors have the ability to download records from those data sets individually, or if they would like to, they could download all of the records at once through a bulk file download option that is also available. Next slide. So I have here just a few details on the amount of website traffic that we're seeing within the JFK Assassination Records Collection web pages on archives.gov. And these are from January 1st of this year, 2025, through earlier this week. And the JFK Assassination Records Collection landing page alone received over 498,000 visitors and over 579,000 page views. However, since yesterday, since the release of the 2025 release, that number has increased quite a bit, and I was able to pull some numbers just before this presentation here. And so the new totals that we have now, just from the beginning of this year, January 1st through today, the landing page has now received a total of 791,000 visitors and 894,295 page views. So there's been a substantial increase of traffic to that page just since the release of that latest records data set yesterday. Next slide. Right. Records related to unidentified anomalous phenomena, also known as UAP, at the National Archives. Next slide. So this is another effort that our team within the Office of Innovation and the Web Division has been collaborating on with our colleagues within the Office of Research Services. And it includes providing access to records related to UAP via the archives.gov website. Just a little bit of background information. Um, the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Records Collection was established by the National Archives per sections 1841 through 1843 of the 2024 National Defense Authorization Act. Next slide. There we go. One of the first steps that we've taken on archives.gov is the development of a web page that provides visitors with access to UAP records that are available within the National Archives catalog. And so the web page and the records are available via the web address that's listed here. It's archives.gov/research/topics /UAPS. And likewise, all the records that are available there are also downloadable from the National Archives catalog. Next slide. Also on the website, the records, the UAP records are browsable across a number of different categories, which are listed here, including still picture and photographs, moving images and sound, textual records and microfilm, presidential library, and National Archives blog posts and articles. Next slide. And lastly, I have a few details here on the amount of web traffic that we're seeing within the UAP web pages on archives.gov. And again, these numbers are this traffic is from between January 1st of this year and again earlier just this week. The main page alone for UAP records has received a little over 18,000 visitors and just over 33,000 page views. Next slide. That concludes my presentation. Thank you all for listening. And at this time, I'll turn the presentation back over to Jill.
Thank you, Mike. Next up, we have Carol Lagundo talking about increasing access to archival records through AI, partnerships, and community engagement. Okay, Carol?
Thanks, Jill. Good afternoon. I'm Carol Lagundo, and I'm the Director of Digital Partnerships and Outreach at the National Archives. And my presentation today is going to focus on how NARA is increasing access to archival records through the use of artificial intelligence, partnerships, and community engagement. Next slide. I'll start by talking about NARA's mission. I'll provide a highlight of our AI strategies and some of our AI use cases. I'll discuss NARA's first use of AI when we launched the 1950 census and how that focused on transparency and collaboration. I'll then explain NARA's Citizen Archivist program, discuss how NARA is leveraging digital partnerships, specifically one with Family Search related to Revolutionary War pension files, to make records more easily discoverable online, and then close with ways that you can connect with NARA. Next slide. So NARA's mission is to preserve and provide access to federal government records with continuing value. That's about 2 to 3% of the records created. Our current holdings include more than 13 billion pages of textual records, 18 million maps, charts, and architectural drawings, more than 43 million images, billions of electronic records, which is the fastest growing category of records, and miles of film and video. Pictured here is the landing page for our online catalog, which provides access to and currently contains more than 380 million digital objects. Our goal is to increase that to 500 million digital objects by fiscal year 2026. Next slide. Our AI strategies include partnerships, keeping archivists in the loop, and internal and external collaboration. In 2020, NARA began collaborating on AI with the Library of Congress, Smithsonian Institution, and other academic and third-party partners. We co-hosted AI workshops in 2021 and 2022 and gave 2 conference presentations in 2023. We collaborate internally across NARA offices, being mindful of potential impacts of AI on privacy, security, information technology, and staff. As we find impactful ways to leverage AI to increase online access to our holdings, we're also mindful to collaborate with our citizen archivists. Those are volunteers who transcribe and tag our records in the catalog. To be transparent in making AI-generated data available online and keep humans in the loop, which I'll talk about a little bit more later in my presentation. Next slide. So this list includes just some of NARA's many AI use cases, screening and flagging for personally identifiable information, PII, in digitized archival records, Freedom of Information Act or FOIA discovery AI, AI-assisted description or descriptive metadata for archival descriptions, and AI-based semantic search for the National Archives catalog. The full list of use cases can be viewed at archives.gov/AI. Next slide. So NARA's first use of AI was when we launched the 1950 census. As Denise said, the decennial census can only be released 72 years after it's taken because the data is protected under Title 13. The most recent census made available publicly is the 1950 census, which we launched on April 1st, 2022. We leveraged Amazon Web Services AI/ML TextTrack tool, and we trained that tool on the 1950 census population schedules and then extracted the 130 million handwritten names to build a searchable name index for the website. Next slide. Realizing that the OCR would not be 100% accurate due to a number of factors that included illegible handwriting by the census enumerators, variations in image quality, text obscured by handwritten flourishes from letters on the line above or below, and then different handwriting styles, we developed a transcription tool that would enable users to submit name transcriptions, and those names were then added to the name index for searching. In the image on the left, you'll notice that the AI extracted the name Patterson, Jack as Patterson, Chuck. And you'll also notice underneath that we clearly attribute the names as being AI extracted names. If you look at the image on the right, you'll notice that someone has already gone into and transcribed and corrected that name to correctly reflect that it's Jack Patterson. After adding that transcribed name back into the name index, users searching for Jack Patterson will now find this record. Next slide. Within the first 24 hours of launching the 1950 census website, we received more than 13 million page views and 220,000 name transcriptions. The website continues to provide free access to this data set, and users have contributed more than 2 million name transcriptions to date. Following the launch of the census, we received a lot of very positive feedback from the public, particularly the genealogy community. And these are just a few of those comments. Next slide. I'll now talk a little bit about our Citizen Archivist program, which we launched in 2015 to enable the public to make contributions to the records in our online catalog. All that's required to transcribe, tag, or add comments is to register for a free user account. Since the program launched in 2015, Citizen Archivists have added more than 3.7 million transcriptions and more than 11 million tags. Those contributions are added to our catalog search index, increasing the discoverability of those records. Next slide. Our NARA community managers maintain a curated list of topic-based transcription and tagging missions, which takes users directly to those records in the catalog to start contributing. Missions are added and updated on a regular basis, and we also feature individual records categorized by skill level, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. One of our most popular missions is our Revolutionary War pension file transcription mission. And I should also point out that we've launched a mission related to the JFK assassination records, where users can help us transcribe typewritten and process copies of depositions of witnesses from the President's Commission on the Assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Next slide. In preparation for the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 2026, NARA partnered with the National Park Service to launch a transcription mission for the Revolutionary War pension files. This series of records includes more than 2.5 million pages of handwritten records. Next slide. Our initial goal was to have all 2.5 million images transcribed in time for the semi-quincentennial. However, the cursive can be very difficult to read, and while cursive was once a standard part of the curriculum in many U.S. schools, its instruction has declined over the years. In the months following the project launch, we looked at the rate of the transcriptions that were being manually completed by citizen archivists, and we realized it would take until 2046 to completely transcribe this series with just humans. Next slide. In 2023, Family Search gave a presentation at the International Council of Archives about their use of artificial intelligence to read old handwritten text. It provides searchable transcripts from old handwritten documents and enables Family Search to provide assets from entirely new categories of documents. Family Search has also been a NARA digitization partner for many years. We started having discussions with them about potentially partnering to train their AI large language model using what was at the time about 35,000 Revolutionary War transcriptions that had been completed manually by our citizen archivists. And we ended up forming a partnership where we provided them with those completed transcriptions, and they used those to train their large language model. In turn, they processed the remaining almost 2.5 million images and gave that output to us so that we could add it to our catalog. Next slide. Next, we worked with our contractor to update our catalog to display the output from Family Search as partner-contributed AI extracted text. We launched this new feature in production last November. And as you can see to the right of this Revolutionary War pension image, the catalog clearly and transparently indicates that the extracted text is contributed by Family Search and that it's AI generated. Next slide. Citizen archivists can then copy that extracted text into the transcription panel. Next slide. And then once copied to the transcription panel, they can compare it to the image, make any corrections needed, and publish the transcription. This keeps humans in the loop and further improves the discoverability of the records. Next slide. Press coverage of this project skyrocketed in January of this year, mostly framed as volunteer recruitment for people who can read cursive to help transcribe records, often with an emphasis on the Revolutionary War pension files. This shows where it was featured in USA Today. Next slide. This map reflects all of the states where the project has received local news coverage. Next slide. And this list reflects national and international press coverage. Next slide. As a result of all the media coverage, we had a huge uptick in the number of new catalog accounts and number of pages transcribed. As of last week, more than 279,000 pages of Revolutionary War pension files have been transcribed. We also experienced a huge uptick in the number of new catalog accounts, as shown in the image on the left, where you can see that more than 30,000 new accounts were created alone just in 1 week in January. During the month of January, community managers replied to more than 1,700 emails from the public, compared to 2,500 emails that they replied to the entirety of 2024. So they've been really busy responding both to public questions about the project and how to contribute and creating new missions. Next slide. We also have a survey where citizen archivists can share interesting stories found in the records, such as battlefield stories and sightings of famous generals. We share those stories with the National Park Service, who we've partnered with on this project, and in turn, their volunteers might feature some of these stories at historical site tours. Next slide. So what are our next steps? Humans will continue to be in the loop. Citizen archivists will compare the AI-generated extracted text to the images, clean it up, and publish it as transcriptions. We're currently working to identify additional series of records that would benefit from AI-generated extracted text for additional projects with Family Search. And we're exploring the use of semantic search technology on a small set of records powered by Google Vertex. It will support natural language queries, provide AI-generated summaries, and footnotes with links to sources in the digitized documents. And of course, we're working on several other AI use cases, as mentioned earlier in my presentation, and we continue to identify additional AI use cases. Next slide. And so in conclusion, I'm just including a slide that has some information that will help you to connect with NARA. You can sign up to receive our newsletter, which we send out every 2 weeks, or email us at catalog@nara.gov, where our catalog community managers respond to questions, comments, and suggestions. Thank you. I'll turn it back to Jill.
Great. Thank you, Carol and Mike and Denise. Next slide. I have a few questions for the panelists, and so I will start with Denise. And again, I wanted to thank you all, for sharing these insights. I thought your presentations were very informative and highlighted a lot of the great work that you and your staff have been doing. And so, Denise, my question for you is about how are technology solutions and automation in the digitization process improving efficiency and increasing access?
Great. Thanks for the question, Jill. The digitization process as a whole for archival materials is really time and labor intensive. There are definitely a lot of steps to take, from taking a box off the shelf to making it available online. So we've really tried to look at each step to see where we can use technology to streamline the process and get digitized records online more efficiently. Last year, we actually opened our mass digitization scanning lab as part of our new digitization center. And we have 3 high-speed scanners. And in developing that workflow, we started using barcode sheets to allow us to track digitized materials. It also allows us to marry the digitized content to descriptive metadata, kind of keeping those packages together. We also use automation to identify issues with digital file names, or to show patterns in file naming that might indicate that there's an issue with the digital files. The faster that we can find and address those issues, the faster we can get it to our catalog staff to put it online. And then once online, as Carol talked about, tools like OCR and AI, they help enhance access and help users find potentially responsive digitized records, maybe gets them to that haystack, the needle in the haystack that they're looking for. We're actually, I mentioned in my presentation, the CCC, those 13,000 rolls of microfilm, we actually had to close that entire collection while we were digitizing that. What that turned into was, we admittedly have a backlog of reference requests around those records. But as we're putting things online, we're actually leveraging the OCR tool to help us find and respond to those inquiries, which has been super great. So we're always looking at how we can make improvements to our process using the latest technology. I've been at NARA not as long as you, Jill. It's been 19 years for me, involved in public access and digitization for the last decade or so. And I've witnessed and experienced the strides that we've made, and we're just continually working to make those processes better using technology.
Thanks, Denise. Yeah. And it's amazing how far it's even just accelerated in the last couple of years. It's been really kind of game changing. Yeah.
Absolutely agreed. Yep.
Yeah. Thanks. My next question is for Carol. Carol, you talked a little bit about what's next. I was just wondering if you could share with us a little bit more about how will your team sustain this surge of interest in AI-assisted transcription and cursive transcription projects and missions?
Thanks for the question, Jill. Absolutely. So, as I mentioned, we're continuing to look at a number of different series in the catalog that we think would really benefit from having the extracted text, the AI generated extracted text, and then working with Family Search for them to take any completed transcriptions that we have from those series and train their large language model on them, and then take those remaining images, run those through, and provide us with the AI generated extracted text output. Um, and then, the community managers will be working to put together um, missions to transcribe and tag those records. I should also mention we have a tagging project as well related to the Revolutionary War pension files. That's also been very popular as well. So they'll continue doing that. They'll continue putting together more citizen archivist missions to keep up with this rate of transcription and tagging because we are expecting this to become the new norm. And it's funny, I just wanted to say, in a follow up to what Denise just replied with her question, I remember when at NARA, we had started on the catalog and launched it years and years ago. And we were excited to reach the first million digital objects in the catalog. And so to have 380 million now, I think really shows the strides that NARA has taken to increase access to these records online. And the fact that we have a goal to meet 500 million by 2026 just shows that we are leveraging technology um, and advances in technology to make records more accessible to everyone.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks, Carol. My next question is for Mike. Mike, thanks for your presentation and talking about the plans for the redesign. And I appreciated too the web traffic metrics and usage metrics that you highlighted. And so my question's about how are you and your team using customer feedback and web metrics to inform the redesign plans, and then also the refinement of redesign changes that after the new website will launch?
It's a good question, Joe. So yeah, feedback is going to be central to this project, and user research is going to be one of the very first things that gets underway for this project. And so we're planning to host a series of various user research activities, including focus groups and usability testing, in order to gather feedback from NARA staff and members of NARA's external audiences, and on everything from just hearing about their current experience or their experiences with the current website and their expectations for the new website. And all that feedback will be used to guide the design direction of the site. Whether that is this from the look and feel of the site, to colors that may be used on the site, to the way that features may evolve, and new features that should be included in the new site as well, and as well as the organization of content. Our content is arranged and structured, and so we want to be able to make sure that we get a lot of feedback, and make sure that the navigation, and again the site itself is just very driven based on the feedback that we get, so that we're able to meet the expectations of as many of our stakeholders as possible. In addition to that, we're also going to be hoping to make things a bit fun as well, and do some outreach around just to get some input, right, to help us to kind of get some direction on mock-ups, or for the design direction of the site. So we're looking at at a point within the project, just to be able to have a number of different mock-ups of design directions to choose from, and to do some outreach to kind of crowdsource that and get some direct feedback from staff and members of NARA's external audience as well. And I'll say even after the launch of the website, feedback, and gathering feedback is something that will continue to be central to what we do within our team, and whether that's gathering feedback just from the channels that currently exist through our website, where people are able to submit inquiries directly to us through our contact form, and in addition to looking at new and improved ways to deploy surveys and other mechanisms to be able to gather continuous feedback that we can use to constantly improve the features on our website over time.
Thanks, Mike. That's exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing the design concepts and where the redesign is going to go. Thanks for sharing how that's going to be really engaging, focus on feedback, and data driven as well. Thanks. My next question is for all the panelists. So I'll kind of maybe have Mike you answer first, and then we'll do Carol and Denise on this one. And so it's just about how will the public ultimately benefit from all these technology advancements, and how will that success be measured by NARA?
That's another great question. As I mentioned in part of my presentation, definitely as it relates to archives.gov, we're looking at as one of the key technical advancements is improving search. That's really critical just to the way that people explore our site and gain access to all the great information and records that are available through our site. So that's one of the ways, and also just updating our content management system as well as which is sort of the base and the sort of the foundation on which which the engine for the site. So enhancing that is going to be another huge piece of the project, and that will allow us to be able to deliver and incorporate a lot of new features and build some really great experiences going forward that'll again give us new ways to present information to visitors.
Thanks, Mike. And then Carol?
Thanks, Jill. That's a good question. So I think that for the catalog, more AI extracted text and OCR is going to mean better search index and increased discoverability of our records. This is going to help researchers and the American people find specific records related to their research. And in terms of measuring satisfaction, we launched a catalog customer satisfaction survey at the end of, I think it was 2023, and we're paying special attention to the percentage of positive responses specifically to questions such as, did you find what you were looking for? And, would you recommend the catalog to family, friends, coworkers? So we're looking at that. We were able to develop a baseline. And so we're hoping that as we add the extracted text in the OCR and make a number of other improvements to the catalog, that satisfaction score is going to increase over time.
Thanks, Carol. And then Denise, anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I think as we put more and more, we digitize more and more records and put them online, just the benefit to the public, whether, it's here in the United States or really around the world, we have a global user base, and it just connects them with the records and the impact on scholarship, and making connections between records, right, in a digital environment, it's kind of really beneficial, and I'm excited to see what happens in that realm.
Thanks so much, Denise. And I just wanted to thank our panelists again. I really enjoyed your presentations and the insights that you shared with us. It was great to see sort of the path that a NAR paper record may have taken from through microfilm and digitization, and then the catalog and archives.gov. And through AI tools and crowdsourcing, and so that people are able to search and find their stories. So I think all this work really kind of comes together and is part of that flow that we've worked on together, working on the 1950 census and other projects that we highlighted today. And like you had mentioned too, 1960 census coming up. And so it was great to hear from you today. If anybody has any questions, follow up to today's presentations, please feel free to reach out to us at catalog@nara.gov, and we will route the questions to the appropriate teams. I think we had it earlier in the slides on Carol's slide there. And with that, I will hand it back to Alina now. Thank you. Next slide.
Great, thank you so much. Please join me in a round of virtual applause to thank all of our panelists today, Denise, Michael, and Carol. They did a fantastic job. A great moderator, Jill, did a fantastic job as well. And it was a really great discussion of all the wonderful things that are going on at NARA. I actually learned a lot myself today. So I'm amazed that we're doing all this great work. For those of you who are attending in person in the McGowan Theater, hopefully there are a few of you there, even though I can't see you. We hope you will take the time to wander up to the rotunda to view the Constitution, Bill of Rights, and Declaration of Independence at the conclusion of our program. I just want to take a minute to thank my terrific OJA staff for supporting this annual event, including in particular Kimberly Reed, Kirsten Mitchell, and Martha Murphy. And I want to thank all of my NARA colleagues and our AV folks who helped make this afternoon's event run so smoothly. I also want to alert everyone that the Sunshine Week celebration continues with Sunshine Fest, recognizing the 20th anniversary of National Sunshine Week. For those of you who have already registered, tomorrow at the Johns Hopkins University Bloomberg Center, members of academia, civil society, nonprofit organizations, federal, state, and local FOIA professionals, news media, and others will gather for a day-long event to discuss the latest technologies to improve searches, redactions, how to handle voluminous records, effective dispute resolution, balancing privacy and access, and much, much more. So good luck to everyone presenting at Sunshine Fest tomorrow. I want to thank you again for joining us today, and happy Sunshine Week. Back to you, Tegan.
That concludes our conference. Thank you for using Inteller Events. You may now disconnect.